He optimizes his sleeping conditions, creates that cool thing so your temperature drops to XYZ and lets you sleep properly. Avoiding stimulants like alcohol and caffeine before going to sleep. X number of hours.
Alcohol is being vilified, multivitamins are being promoted.
In the US, alcohol has been touted as now the
I know, pehle they used to say one glass of wine a day. Now they're saying wine will shrink your brain. No wonder wine has shrunk.
He's not doing any brain hacking. He's only doing body hacking and measuring his erections in the night.
Kiran, every other day I hear about some new wellness clinic, a wellness luxury hotel, a wellness affordable hotel. Wellness and longevity have become the new buzzwords. And everyone is trying to biohack, buy gadgets to, monitor their sleep, their waking hours, their intake, their calorie burn, their REM. I have an Apple Watch, but I don't want to be a robotic human being who has everything monitored constantly. I'm not that person. Okay. But most people these days are. What do you think is going on? And do you think people can actually one day overcome old age for good?
There are a lot of people putting in time, money, effort, research, and even their own bodies online for this. I think it generally started with the Silicon Valley dude boys. Yeah. A lot of them. They've all invested in startups and research firms that are researching how to extend life, whether it is genetically, whether it is through lifestyle changes and biohacking, whether it is through other means whatsoever, organ transplants, whatever.
Oh, that too, huh?
That too. Cloning, organ transplants, that's another extreme level.
Wow.
And that is also being researched. But what I find most interesting about this, Shunali, is this person called Bryan Johnson. I have been following him for a while because it was just so off the radar. So I was very fascinated with his premise. And I said, if anything comes out of it, he's made himself the guinea pig.
Yeah,
let us all benefit from it. I've been following him for a while. So this chap, he was an entrepreneur, startup guy, he came from church, from very strong religious, Mormon family, and a very strong religious background, and had two startups. One, of course, was one where you monitored brain waves. So he was already in that space of investigating the brain and the mind.
Is that right?
Right in the very beginning. So I think this is an area that fascinated him.
And Venmo was his,
his company bought it over, then PayPal bought that, and he made a big pile load of cash and could have retired happily ever after.
Right.
But finding purpose, and then what came to him was don't die. His entire program to not die. But it sounds ridiculous not to die.
Yeah, I guess that's just a clickbait thing.
Title. But
I guess he means that die of natural causes and old age and don't die before your time.
Yeah. And if you have an old age, let it be fit and well, and, let you not suffer from all the ailments that, most old people have. And, I am the caregiver to two senior citizens. As are you. You have your mother to take care of as well. And it is scary to see
the mother doesn't even think she's a senior citizen.
I know. None of them do. They're still like, dil to bacha hai ji.
You don't take care of me, I'll take care of myself.
Yeah. But she's very fiercely independent, and she's marvelous.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing. But, it scares you to see how age can shrivel up a person completely. And if he gets something out of it, I'm happy to see what he's up to.
Sure. I have been following him, and I did think of him initially as a fanatic, a health freak, a fanatic, who's obviously got some trauma that he is trying to run away from the truth of life and immerse himself in this pursuit of youth and longevity or whatever. Because he takes some 120 supplements a day. He follows the circadian rhythm, which is a good thing. Actually, sleeps by 8:30. Heard him on the Netflix show where he says that is the hardest thing for me, the last bite that I take, the last morsel of food that I consume, because he knows now that the day ahead of him and he's not going to eat.
That this quest for immortality, so to speak,
is as old as
the Holy Grail.
Correct.
And the
The Greek
alchemist stone.
philosophers and yeah.
Everything has been going on. We've had it in mythology. We've had so many people who've been granted immortality.
Of course.
And
So Swami Sivananda, who is a yoga teacher, yoga pracharak, who lives in Varanasi, turned 127 years old this Jan.
Doesn't that make him the oldest person in the world right now?
Possibly he's, and listen, he's agile and mobile. He was born in 1896.
What an advertisement for yoga.
He got a Padma Shri in 2022, and when he got the Padma Shri, he sort of did that whole Shastang to
The Prime
Minister and the President. I guess it was also a display of his agility as a mark of, as a thing of respect and gratitude. But he speaks English. He's very coherent. And of course, an old man looks like an old man at 127. But he does yoga. He wakes up early. He eats only boiled food, and he says no oils.
No oils at all.
So everyone has a different philosophy of staying young. Some people say that fats are necessary for lubrication, but he eats only vegetables and no oils. And here we keep saying protein, protein, protein. Where is he getting protein from? Steamed vegetables.
You know, if you look at the blue zones across the world, look at their diets.
What are blue zones?
These are specific areas like in Japan, there's, I think, Okinawa. I forget where the other places are. But these have the longest living people.
Okay.
And they have researched the diets and the lifestyles of those people who live there. And they're active, they're healthy. All the residents are well into their 80s and 90s, agile, active, healthy. And it boils down to a natural diet for most. Active lives, a lot of walking needed, a lot of movement needed throughout the day, and very strong social circles.
Yeah.
And a sense of community. Yeah. So these are the parameters that bind, you know, all these three very geographically diverse zones together. And
also that purpose, like you said, like Swami Sivananda said, that his purpose in life is to feed poor people.
Okay.
And he goes to Puri, and for days he feeds poor people. That gives him happiness. He says, I love poor people. And he didn't mean it in the way that Mary Antoinette would say, right? He meant that he loves taking care of them and spending time with them. And that's his purpose in life. I think if you have a purpose and you lead a moderately healthy lifestyle and do some movement, you're good. You don't need to take 136 vitamins a day. And
also your genes. At the end of the day, it's also genes. If you have genes that are good without any illnesses that are going to be passed on to you, you're going to be fine. But if you're going to have some chronic illnesses passed on to you genetically, then you're going to be in trouble.
No, you do have a point.
So, I mean, that's something that has to be factored in. That's why all the genetic research is going on as to how you eliminate those genes and vagera, vagera, vagera.
But no, it's like the Viva Meyer Clinic of Austria. A lot of people go there and they eat some pureed zucchini and a special low GI bread, and they go through blood transfusions, and it's very, very hard.
But blood transfusions have been proven to not have any effect.
I don't know. But people come back from there looking younger and better.
They're getting plastic surgery done on the slide. I'm telling you.
I know some of my friends have been there too.
Okay.
And it's something that I'll never sign up for because it's just too severe, because you have to give up tea and coffee at least a month before you get there.
Okay.
And I attended their talk because these guys keep coming down to India now because the Indians are spending.
Big market.
To India, it's a big market. By 2029, the Indian wellness tourism is expected to grow to $26 billion.
Wow, that's a huge number. And considering India is already a destination for medical facilities.
Exactly.
Across the world.
The other day, I was sitting at a cafe, at Bougie Cafe, and having my breakfast. And this young gentleman, with some hesitation, says, are you the person who went to Provence with your sister and wrote about it in a magazine?
Wow. So you're world famous in India, Shunali. In Bougie.
One person.
You're world famous in Bougie Cafe.
So we got chatting. Very smart, lovely young guy by the name of Aniket Day. And he had read that article as it happens and then traveled to Provence and
lovely.
And I'd written it for the Condé Nast Traveler magazine. So we got chatting, and he is developing, along with the investor partner, whatever, a massive high luxury project called Tula near Calicut, in the hills near Calicut. And then he showed me the scale of the project, and it's going to, it's expensive. He said it's going to be like $2,000 to $3,000 a night or something in that zone, but really, really expensive stuff. But he said it includes everything: Ayurvedic therapies, treatments, The works. And they have some 36 doctors on board. Now, where did India ever think of, in South India, you have enough Ayurvedic centers. But he says people go to La Prairie Institute in Switzerland, people go to Viva Meyer. We have Ayurveda. And we can have people come to us. So that's where we are at.
Well, I hope this Aniket is going to invite you and give you
he was inviting me.
Give you a massive discount because you inspired him to
I love to host you. I have to be willing to go now. That's the other thing. No, and now there's a Dharna Wellness Retreat, and I've heard great things about it. Again, farm to table. I think Ayurveda, if it makes standardized medication, it can be amazing. So wellness is huge. I went to some luxury property to write about it in Odisha. They have a wellness center at Rambha Palace. So it's really become like everyone is speaking wellness. Alcohol is being vilified. Multivitamins are being promoted. In the US, alcohol has been touted as now. I know, pehle they used to say one glass of wine a day. Now they're saying wine will shrink your brain. No wonder wine is shrunken.
First, we have to figure out if we had brains to begin with. Mine never existed.
My mother says I did.
Yeah.
Once.
That's mothers for you.
It's RIP now.
That's mothers for you. And plus, when we had our kids, we gave the remainder of our brains to our kids. Did I ever tell you about the fact that I did an IQ test before I had Krish and after I had Krish?
No.
And after I had Krish, I was at imbecile level.
I refuse to believe.
So I've given all my brains to him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Probably did
Are IQ drops after children?
Maybe I was in that phase of when he was a little baby, so I had no brain left from keeping him alive. With boys, you just have to keep them alive. So
my IQ must be like between children and dogs. I don't know whatever happened to mine.
No, we've just donated it. Lele.
Yeah. Chalo, maybe from this Bryan Johnson, we'll learn some brain hacking tricks. I really need that, Kiran.
He's not doing any brain hacking. He's only doing body hacking and measuring his erections in the night.
Yeah, I read about that. Can you talk a little bit about that? Tell me.
He has some electrodes attached to measure the duration. Sorry to get graphic. The quality of his nightly erections, because that's an indicator of longevity, apparently.
If you get nightly erections.
I think most do. I am not qualified to speak about it, not having a penis myself. But I believe that the quality, duration, whatever, and the frequency is a good indicator of longevity. Or if they aren't very good, you're not going to live too long. So he has his measured, and then he compares them. And his son, Talmage, also provides data for the same.
Wow. So, what bonding?
So, I mean, they shed blood.
Like, did you get it up last night? Did you get it up last night? Did you get it up last night? Did you get it up last night?
No, I don't think it's quite that informal. I think it all goes into the system, and then the doctor sits and decodes it. But this is...
He came to India.
He did.
And he kept saying that I can't believe that the pollution in Bombay is so awful that people are walking around without... face mask. So I bought myself a mask N95. I thought the one tip I can take from Bryan Johnson is to use a face mask, which I forget to use. But see this cough that you and I both.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's nothing but the pollution. Our AQI is as bad as Delhi's AQI.
It is. It's given me this lovely hoarse voice, which I hope is making me sound sexy and not like someone that's crawled out of the grave.
And find out.
Yeah, like hello. And then
that is the hello.
Nahi hota na aajkal.
Can you also now give us, read out some tips from, because you're really into Bryan Johnson. Tell us what does he do and what does he not do? At least some things that...
Really into Bryan Johnson's house.
No, I'm just going to follow some yogi, but like just for the sake of our listeners.
Yeah, sure.
My next plan is to now retire in the Himalayas.
Build a cottage next to yours for me. I'll come and stay there when I can get network. Okay.
You're busy taking care of your mom and mom-in-law. Every time I invite you to lunch, you say, but I have to rush to my mom. I have to rush to my mom-in-law.
That is why we have to follow Bryan Johnson so we don't become the same with our kids. You think our kids are going to take care of us?
I was reading up a bit on that Swami Shivananda today for the sake of the podcast. I knew about him, but I wanted more information. I promptly put a post on Instagram after that looking for a yoga teacher. I have a yoga teacher. He comes to me now and then because he's too busy to do like a 3 times a week yoga class. And I can't do it on Zoom. But I was like, you know what? We have this wealth of knowledge with us. And if only I could just start doing yoga properly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even the breathing technique.
It's actually, that's the main
most of it.
That's most of the asanas come later. The first is just Anulom Vilom and Kapalbhati and Bhastrika.
That's the best. Anyway, to get back to Bryan Johnson. the most important thing, which I love because I love to sleep, is prioritizing quality sleep. So he has a consistent sleep schedule. He goes
But he takes a melatonin every night,
which is not a good thing.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of a consistent sleep schedule. You sleep
Correct.
at a fixed hour and you wake up at a fixed hour. And
following the circadian
yeah,
rhythm.
and the moment you get up, you get that that particular light. I forget what
Red light.
Some
Red light.
Some light that mimics the sunlight.
Red light.
Red light. Okay, so he blasts himself with that light. He optimizes his sleeping conditions, creates that cool thing so your temperature drops to XYZ and lets you sleep properly. Avoiding stimulants like alcohol and caffeine before going to sleep. X number of hours. We all know this. We don't follow it. Yeah. But it's a simple thing which none of us really take seriously. Then nutrient-rich diet. We know he has a plant-based diet. We know that we have to get more veggies in, we have to get more fruits in, more nuts in.
Yeah.
Simple stuff. Okay.
And I don't think he eats grain. Does he eat grain?
And whole grains. Whole grain.
Whole grains?
Yes. And he eats all his meals before 11 a.m.
Because he wakes up at 5.
5:30.
My God, I'll just keep thinking of food all day if I stop eating by 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Even by 4 p.m. if I stop eating, like
you have to keep yourself really distracted then. I'm sure
with what?
I don't know, with whatever. With Instagram reels.
When I'm traveling, I don't eat that much.
Okay.
When I'm at home and writing from home or reading from home, I keep thinking, what will I put in my mouth now?
My eating happens when I'm traveling.
That's why writers smoke. Because it's so boring to just sit by yourself, do what? Chew on celery.
Or drink. Yeah. That's why we're alcoholics and smokers. Anyway, another thing that he does is takes over 100 pills a day, which I don't recommend.
Stupid.
Because not all of them have been...
But like women need to take omega-3.
Calcium. Yeah.
Or wake up in the morning and have a tablespoonful of virgin coconut oil or A2 cow ghee of ghee cow.
Yeah. I have that in my bulletproof coffee.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Okay. And third tip, simple tip. Workout every day. He
works out for an hour every day. And people who are killing themselves in the gym for 2 hours, I think are overdoing it.
Just an hour of good solid workout, cardiovascular exercise and weights, both together. Get a regimen that alternates the two. Don't over focus on the weights, because just weights. I see people just doing weights and getting bulky.
Yeah.
You need to do cardio as well as weights.
I have an idea. I think we should get like a yoga guru who also looks lean and fit and healthy, and just to see how different his teachings are from on a show. Someone famous. It'd be a good idea to hear his tips then.
We should do that. And advanced health monitoring, which not all of us can do because we don't have access to doctors on call. And
also, do you like that? Like, do you want to live with that?
No, I don't want to be. But I agree that you need to have your regular checkups and you need to be
that, of course,
indeed.
Yeah.
Not like me, who hasn't got a health checkup in years.
With your, your health data through an app
is also stressful.
It is stressful. My husband and my daughter buy the Whoop band, and he'll tell me every day. Last time, from this time to this time, I had REM, and she also tells me. And one day she told me, Mom, it tells me how much calorie I'm burning, at what stage I'm burning, how my sleep is. At first, she was enjoying it. Now she feels it's getting too much.
Okay. I think I was obsessed with, I wear an Apple Watch for most part of the day. So whenever I'm working out, if my heart rate is going a little higher, it will send me a little alert. And then I'll show my trainer very proudly, see. At the end of the day, I say, for what am I working out? To get my heart rate high, right?
Yeah.
So what is there to be so excited about it?
That's what I'm saying.
Unless I'm going to
monitoring my Apple Watch, I only wear it when I travel. Because my phone alerts come on it and the Apple Watch buzzes. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's like gathering dust in some drawer in my house. Yeah. I couldn't be bothered. I don't want to monitor myself so much.
No, I don't think so. And it can get obsessive, because I've seen it with my husband. When he found out he was diabetic, he went crazy. He was like doing his blood work every week or so, trying to gauge.
Really?
Yeah. I have a thappi of his.
But you can do that blood work on your own, na?
That to home also, and also lab blood work.
But the thing is, with this Whoop thing, the main interesting thing is that your quality of sleep, because none of us in our modern lives are sleeping well. That it really helps you monitor. And I see that, like, at this time to this time, I really had deep sleep and I need to work on it better and go to bed early today. At least my daughter was doing that. So it tells you whether your sleep was optimized 46%, which is bad. 56% still bad.
But how can you optimize your sleep?
Supposing you sleep your 8 hours, that band will tell you can optimize by going to bed on a certain time and don't eat before going to bed and all those things. You can optimize your sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Touch wood, I have never had any issues with falling asleep.
But you sleep early also, na, Kiran? I'm like a night owl. I'm up late.
I know. When Shunali sends me a text after 10 o'clock, she'll get a reply in the morning at 5 o'clock.
Yeah. By which time I might be awake still. I'm a night owl. I'm a bat.
You're a vampire in a previous life, I'm sure.
This one also. You don't know.